Lawrence, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Do you see anything good about today? It's not a trap.
It's a very good question. Already it's a good morning because we are alive and well. We need to be grateful for what we have.
Yeah.
And we're peaceful. We're able to sit here and discuss many things that affect us. That is very good about this morning.
No, in the context of
Labor
us
Day.
celebrating Labor Day. As a Kenyan citizen.
Yes. I'm an employer. So I will say it is a very good day for all of us as we move along. So that's a different context for different people. I know my brothers here may not agree with me in one way or the other, but remember your employers are listening.
Yes.
Mimi wanisamee tu.
No, but he's not speaking in the context of our current employer.
Yes.
And we already put out a disclaimer.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
We're speaking as Kenyan citizens.
Yes.
We have decided to have... We're
Even-
dissociating ourselves from...
Because Miriam mapema asubuhi
Naam.
wakili ame explain what
Yes.
Labor Day is.
Yes.
Totally iko parallel na
Yes.
whatever we do kwa hii nchi. We high hold waters. So bi Labor Day tumedandia sio yetu.
Yeah.
Tumedandia kwa kweli kulingana na meaning yenye alisoma.
Lakini lazima uangalie zile gains tumeachieve kuanzia miaka hiyo ya zamani mpaka tumefikia hapa.
Kama nchi sivyo.
Kama nchi
Kama
na
nchi si kama
watu.
mfanyakazi.
No, hata kama wafanyakazi. Hebu jiangalie vizuri, angalie wakati ambapo hatukuwa na mazingira mazuri ya kumprotect mtu ambaye anafanya kazi ama kumlinda yule ambaye yuko katika mizani ya nguvu, yuko chini. Lakini saa hizi tuna sheria, tumepata njia ambao sheria imefuatiliwa vizuri, tuna mambo mengi sana. Zile conventions za international zimekuwa domesticated na tumekuwa tukifuatilizia.
Kwa gazeti
Naam.
kuna wafanyikazi 100,000.
Naam.
100,000
Naam.
wa serikali kuu na serikali za county
Ndio.
ambao wamepitisha ile inaitwa third rule ya pesa ya mshahara yao.
Ndio.
Kwa sababu ya haya makato ambayo yamekuja, sijui levy, sijui nini. Na serikali iko ni mfanyikazi huyu ashereke Labor Day.
Lakini pia kuchanganya na hiyo wakili.
Naam.
Kwa sababu umejaribu kuiweka vizuri.
Ndio.
Hivi tunavyoongea miezi 6 vijana waliahidiwa kazi,
Ndio.
wakalipa hata pesa.
Ndio.
Ni mambo ya kazi bado. Na sahi malalamishi ni kwamba pesa wengine wameregeshewa nusu, kazi hazijapatikana, waziri ni huyo wa leba.
Ndio.
Unaona
Na
tu
leo
bado
ni Labor Day.
Na leo ni Labor Day.
Mimi sijatumwa hapa kumwakilisha waziri wa leba au serikali. Lakini kile naweza sema tusubiri, tuliambiwa kuna ripoti itapelekwa kwenye seneti ili tuweze kuelewa. Lakini cha msingi ni kuna zile effort. Unajua kama watu zaidi sana tunaangalia upande mmoja wa kuangalia makosa na kukosoa, lakini hatuangalii ni watu wangapi wamepata katika mpango huo wamepata njia za ajira, wanafanya kazi huko nje, wanaendelea vizuri na bado wanaregesha pesa kwenye economy yetu. Uchumi unaendelea kupanda. Sasa kwa hao utasema 100,000 au idadi fulani. Tuangalie upande wao mwingine pengine ni 500,000. Kisha uangalie vizuri uweze kuona, lakini nazidi kusema sijatumwa hapa na waziri.
You have defended. You know what? You did not have to defend anybody.
Yes.
You've said it well.
Yes.
Like
Both
I
sides
said,
of the coin.
Like I said, it
Yes.
was not a trap.
Thank you so much.
Now, of course, it's a Tuesday, so you know what, we talk about legal matters.
It is a Thursday.
What?
welcome back.
Karibu.
Sorry.
Labor Day hauitaki kabisa. Leo ni Alhamisi. Leo Miriam.
It's a Thursday.
Ni
It is a
Thursday.
Thursday.
What? Okay, let me snap out of it. I'm used to seeing you on a Tuesday, right?
Yes.
It's a Thursday. And of course, today, Thursday, we want to look at incidences, a lot of incidences that occurred across the week.
Yes.
You have watched first of all, have you watched the BBC documentary?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So the BBC
Very
released...
heartbreaking.
Very, very heartbreaking.
Yes.
Yeah. So the BBC documentary released Blood Parliament.
Yes.
And we had a heavy conversation about it yesterday.
Yes.
And I'll ask you again.
Yeah.
When you watched that documentary, what emotion did it elicit from you as a Kenyan?
Very simple and very brutal. It is anger. Yeah, the documentary in itself is not inflaming, but it elicited anger to come to realize that the things that we were suspecting are now being validated that they actually happened. You know, and we really, really respect the fourth estate here in the country, but we understand the environment within which the fourth estate works here. Journalism here and everything, there are things that would be muffled along the way.
Yeah.
But a foreign correspondence or a foreign entity having the confidence of airing this without the limitations of it being edited to suit or not to inflame certain people,
Yeah.
gives us exactly what we thought. When we read on X and when we read on social media platforms that people were being killed and this was being orchestrated by certain individuals, there was no confirmation.
Yeah.
We really have to applaud them for the work that they did, how meticulous and the hours that they took to just do verification, do background and everything.
Yeah.
We really pray that our fourth estate here in Kenya locally emulate them and become the people's last line of defense.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I would wish to say from my personal perspective that because it came from the BBC does not mean that this data was not collected by our fourth estate. The only difference here is the confidence to allow it to be aired at different places. I believe if this was done by a local entity, at some point it would have been gagged at some point.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of interference.
Correct.
Yeah.
But now that it's coming out there, it elicits that anger and it shows actually how bad things were, things that were rubbished in the guise of moving on.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what's hurting us as a country.
Yeah.
Remember, just relax. Let us move on. Let us move on. There are times that we don't need to move on without having a proper conversation about what happened, putting people to accountability, and making sure that what happened serves as a lesson for the next.
Yeah.
Because there's a next coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. Now, would this, again, now from as an advocate of the
Yes.
High Court,
Yes.
would what the BBC presented be used as evidence? Can it be used as evidence in court?
That's a very that's a very heavy question, right? It cannot be used as evidence as presented, but the people who collected the data can actually testify so that that data, the raw data that was collected, can be used as evidence.
Yeah.
I want to clarify on that. The documentary in itself cannot be used as a reference, as a point of as a piece of evidence in court.
Yeah.
But how it was collected, the people who collected can submit it for those. Before you do the editing, before you put everything together and all that, the raw data can be used as evidence in court. For instance, let's say Salim was on the ground collecting data, took photos and videos of this and this, used this gadget and all that.
Yeah.
He can report and he can give details of what he used so that we have what we call in the Evidence Act the certificate of electronic production.
Yeah.
Especially when you take digital or electronic evidence. So that goes through the verification, because we live in a digital world where someone will say, oh, that is edited, that is AI, that is
Yes.
CGI or anything. But if that is taken and it's taken through the process, then we can have culpability follow through. Yes.
Okay. Now I want to play. We played this yesterday again.
Yes.
So you've said it brought perspective and reminded us that we should not forget and move on.
Correct. Correct.
But then there's a lot of opposition after the outcome of this documentary, right?
Yes.
And a lot of opposition, we see it again from some of the political leaders.
Yes.
Let's listen in, and then I want your reaction on this.
It happens world over. People are killed, our people are killed. We sympathize, we moved on, even world over. And it touches on lack of patriotism also on our part, trying to showcase things done by a foreign media.
Is BBC speaking as a mouthpiece of the government and the people of Britain? Or what is it that the BBC is doing? Could it be an attempt to untwist this country so that they can rescind on the rider that we put on their training of the Batuk units in Kenya, Mr. Speaker? Because even some of the photos that we were seeing out of the streets, I can tell you as a graphic editor that they do not belong to this country. Photos were being taken off the internet and being edited.
You can't stop the media. Somebody else will fuel that anger again. But I would appeal that we set up a select committee to deal with this issue.
That is the reaction of some of our leaders, right?
Let's call them politicians. Not
Politicians.
leaders. Yes.
Yes, that is the reaction of some politicians.
Correct.
What do you make of that?
One, I would say the first two politicians who spoke are very reckless, and it is quite disappointing to hear someone like KJ take the stance he's taking and become a puppet and an apologist, a mouthpiece, and I may have not very good words that that can be used on radio, but at the end of the day, we can all understand that there are so many words that we can use for him that that would be fit.
Yeah.
Because he's not speaking from his mind. He's not speaking from a perspective of knowledge. He is hiding behind a certain knowledge that is flawed, and is doing it to please a master. That is what he's doing. I'm very, very sad for him in terms of the expectations that the people had on him representing a particular generational bracket, and also representing certain individuals, especially in a cosmopolitan place like Dagoretti and the likes. He is someone we expected to speak better. And having said the things that he said, trying to tarnish and rubbish the work that was done, just by mere saying that this might have been picked from there, this is in this, and then trying to throw in a lot of blame and say that there is a foreign throw in something very, very, very inflaming on the diplomatic front. Something I'm talking about the Batuk and what was happening there, attacking a foreign government because of a media house that is not representing a government. It is quite disappointing, and it is quite reckless. If we were living in a serious democratic space, a serious governance or space, he would have been censured from parliament, and his own constituents could have taken action against him. Right now, I don't expect people to sit back. Under the stewardship and leadership of our Law Society president, Madam Faith Odhiambo, I know some action will be taken. And as I saw the report that was done, the media briefing that was done by our able leader, that is Madam Faith Odhiambo, and in very, very clear words, she condemned this kind of ideology. You cannot use a redirect. You know what was being used is redirect to try and steer us to a conversation that would inflame other people. We know what happened with the Batuk issue. We know what is happening, that litigation is happening, and investigations are being done at very high level, so much that the High Commissioner and other individuals have come from the UK to try and address this. And it's an active thing that is going. So try and hide behind that to redirect so that people can find anger on whatever was happening there is actually gaslighting. Now, let's take it back to Mr. Abdullah. His name is Bashir Abdullahi.
Yes.
That is the first individual. Very insensitive comments. People die all over. And he tries to sanitize it by saying, of course, we sympathize. But there's a particular pattern that is coming out of certain individuals, and I'm not afraid to say certain category of politicians who are very reckless, and tells you the kind of arrogance that is there when people are addressing human lives. We had that other MP who I try to rub his name from my head, but it sticks, Farah Maalim, who recklessly said, I could have killed 5,000. I could have done this and this. I could have done this and this. And then he comes back to talk about how he was misquoted, how this and that. We have Mr. Abdullahi. Read the script as we follow through. He comes out and says, people die all over. These are the same people we saw on national television scampering and being led away using ambulances and tunnels from that very situation that they're trying to say it was fabricated. How would it have been fabricated if they themselves were there and were being evacuated from the parliamentary buildings? How would it be that there would be justification when none of them was hurt, none of their family members were touched, none of the people they know? You know, as they say, grass is always greener on the other side. Until something happens and it hits home that this is actually happening, some of these people are cushioned and ballooned by the social status that we have in this country. And that is why politics should be deconstructed so that it does not become a career. Because the recklessness and the lack of thought, I'm so sorry I was ranting, but that is my answer to it.
I really like it. You know, I'm just listening and you're saying exactly what's been on my mind. And yesterday we were ranting.
Yes.
As much as you're ranting. Before we get to the police, I know Gona probably and Salim have questions on the same.
Yes.
Hii documentary unahisi kama inatusaidia kwa njia gani haswa? Kwa sababu nafikiria pale nyuma umetaja kwamba inaweza kuwa na ugumu hiyo yenyewe itumike katika mahakama pengine.
Okay. Inatusaidia kwa njia gani? Kuna neno kizungu inaitwa validation. Kule kupatia thibitisho mawazo ambao mtu alikuwa nayo. Wajua tulikuwa na mawazo mengi kuhusiana na matukio ya siku hiyo. Huzuni ambao ulitanda, watu ambao walipoteza maisha yao na vitu kama hivyo. Na vitu ambavyo vilifanyika kabla na baada ya tukio hilo. Kulikuwa na zile forcible disappearances, kulikuwa na vitu kama hivyo. Kuna wale ambao walipotea hawajawahi patikana na walitoka wakienda katika maandamano hayo. Na kuna kile kilifanyika baada ya hapo, mabadiliko, na tukaona nchi hii mwelekeo ambao ulikuwa umechukua wakati huo ulibadilika. Ni vigumu sana kuenda mbele kama hujui mahali umetoka. Tukijaribu kukaa hapa kusema ya kuwa tunajaribu kuweka accountability ama kuhakikisha ya kuwa mambo yanafanyika vile yanafaa, na tusahau tulipitia njia gani kufikia hapa, hatutakuwa tunaenda mahali popote. Damu iliyomwagika hapo barabarani, waliokufa ambao walipigwa risasi kwenye kichwa, ambao waliuliwa pale wakijaribu kupigania haki zetu ili tusiweze kunyanyaswa na kikundi kidogo cha watu, ndio wametuhakikishia ya kuwa wametusaidia ambapo tuko hapa leo. Nchi hii ina amani kupitia damu ya hao watu. Nchi hii tuko na stability ama tuko na mwongozo wa hata fedha zetu kupitia damu ya hao watu. Sasa dokumentari hii inatusaidia sisi tuweze kujua mahali tumetoka, tujiandae kuishi wakati wa sasa, na tujue ni nini itahitajika kutoka kwetu siku za usoni. Sababu tukiwa na sheria ambazo zinataka kutungwa leo ambazo zitatunyanyasa tena, tukipitia njia hii ya kujua ya kuwa tuweza kwenda tufanye maandamano, tuweza kwenda tujaribu kubadilisha maneno katika mitandao, mambo yatabadilika. Lakini lazima tuchukue lessons ama tuweze kusoma kupitia yale yaliyofanyika. Tukienda kule tutajaribu tuende ili maafa yasizidi, tutajaribu tufanye njia tofauti. Kwa hivyo lazima tujue mahali tunatoka ili tujue tuendako. Sasa hivyo ndivyo documentary hii inatusaidia. Haitusaidii ili tuamke tuanze kuandamana kesho ama nini. Inatusaidia tuweze kuchukua mambo ambayo tunaweza kujisaidia kama jamii. Na vile unavyosema kwa swali lako la pili, ni haiwezi tumika kotini ilivyo. Kwa sasa tunatarajia wale ambao walihusika katika kutayarisha documentary hii na vikundi ambavyo ama watu ambao wanajaribu kutafuta haki, wa reach out ama waandikie hawa, watafute hawa ili tuweze kupata kile ambacho tunaweza tumia kotini. Tuweze kupata watu wale tunaweza peleka katika Independence Policing Oversight IPOA. Tuweze kuuliza maswali, na pia inatusaidia kuna watu waliokuwa pale walioona watu hawa lakini hawakuwa na thibitisho yote. Hawakuwa na nafasi ya kuona ya kuwa fulani bin fulani alichukua recording. Lakini sasa vile anavyoona pale anasema mimi nilikuwa hapo. Nimeona ile recording na najiona katika hiyo recording nikikimbia hapa na hapa. Nathibitisha ni yule nilimuona akipiga risasi, ni yule nilimuona akifanya mambo kama. Sasa itatusaidia kutatua mambo mengi, sababu kumbuka kuna wazazi bado wako na majonzi, bado watu wao bado hawajapata haki mpaka sasa. Kuna watu ambao wameshikilia bunduki saizi na wamevaa kofia ambayo iko na coat of arms ya serikali ya leo, lakini wanafaa kuwa wanatumikia jela. Sasa vitu kama hivi vitatusaidia sisi tuweze kurekebisha vitu ambavyo haviendi sawa katika jamii. Ndio.
Okay, mimi nina maswali mawili kwa hapa mahali ambapo kabla tuende huko kwingine.
Ndio.
Swali la kwanza,
ndio.
Kwa sababu umezungumzia wabunge, sasa ndio kuongezea mbunge mwingine Peter Kaluma. Mheshimiwa, acha nimweke Mheshimiwa Peter Kaluma. Tumpe tu heshima ya mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Peter Kaluma ilipotoka tu, I think miongoni mwa wale waliokuwa wa kwanza kuzungumza, walizungumza bungeni. Yeye alizungumza tu baada ya kutoka, akasema taasisi zote za serikali zinafaa zihakikishe hii makala imefungiwa.
Ndio.
Na leseni ya shirika la habari ambalo ni BBC ifutwe.
Ndio.
Halafu hapo tu taarifa nyingine zikasema kwamba ile ilikuwa imestopishwa kwa screened hapa nchini, hiyo makala. Hapo wewe kimtazamo wako
ndio
unazungumzia vipi na impact yake ikoje?
Kusema ukweli, bwana Peter Kaluma, mwanzo tuanzie hapo kwa kuita waheshimiwa. Wajua ni nchi zetu ambazo makosa inaanza na sisi. Sababu mbunge kwa kupata kiti cha ubunge, nafasi ya kuongoza watu, anafaa kuwa anawatumikia watu.
Ni mtumwa.
Ni mtumwa. Si mkubwa.
Ndio hiyo.
Lakini sasa tunawapa huo kesho MCA wetu tunamuita mheshimiwa, kesho tunaita mtu mwingine mheshimiwa. Ule ukubwa unaingia katika akili zao.
Waita majina yao halisi wanateta.
Mimi na sasa wajua kama vile tulivyofundishwa na vile ambavyo lazima tusaidie watu kutoka katika ukoloni mambo leo. Na mentality ambayo ya kuwa defeated. Watu walikuwa wanafikiria tukiwa tunakuwa ya kuwa katika mahali popote ambapo unafanya kazi na nyumbani lazima uwe na picha ya rais. Hakuna sheria kuhusiana na mambo kama hayo.
Acha bwana.
Huo ni ukweli?
What do you mean? My daughter asked me.
There is no law for that.
Hakuna.
Wait.
Na mbona
katika ofisi yangu
Yeah.
picha iliyoko ofisini kwangu ni ya mke wangu. Picha ambayo inafaa kuwa katika ofisi yako ni mtoto wako ama mke wako ama mtu wako. Na picha ambayo inafaa kuwa katika, kama kuna mtu anakufurahisha, seme mimi ni Mahatma Gandhi, pengine mimi ni Uhuru Kenyatta, katika ofisi yangu kumekuwa na picha ya Uhuru Kenyatta hadi mwaka huu.
Umkaitoa?
Tulitoa sababu tulikuwa tunafanya remodeling.
Na hukuirudisha?
Sikuirudisha.
Ukaeka ya mke wako?
Ndio.
Wait a minute.
I will not forget the question. Yes.
Don't forget the question.
Yes.
Just on the picture, because my daughter asked, why do we have
Yes.
like why do we have the president's picture in schools,
everywhere,
in institutions?
Yes.
I believe she saw it in their school. Like, Mommy, why do we have the president's picture? And I was like, that's just how it's been. You're required to have the picture.
You're not required.
You're saying we're not required to have the
Please disabuse your daughter of that mentality that is required, because that is what is passed down, the misinformation.
May I know it's
so then why do we have the picture of the president in our institutions?
Ngoja basi tuulize hivi.
Naam.
Is it a must ikwe kwa hizi offices zao?
No.
Offices zao.
The government
offices?
No.
Oh.
No.
It is a government office.
Nijipate.
It is not an office of the president. We have 3 arms of government. If you want to know this thing is serious, then walk into any court, walk into any public institution that is like court-like the other arms of the government.
Parliament.
You will never find the picture of the president. In fact, at our courts, we have the pictures. Go to Mombasa Law Courts, the reception. You will have the pictures of the former chief justices up to the current. We honor whom we want. In that institution of a court, we have the coat of arms. And then we have the flag of the country. Then we have the images or the photos of our chief justices up to the current. But this is stemming from a mentality that was there, carried throughout the years. It came from a good place, a place of pride, that we are so proud that we have a president post-independence, and it's the Honorable Jomo Kenyatta.
Yes.
And people had his images everywhere, because you look at that and you feel like, I'm proud.
Yeah.
In Kenya.
Yeah.
Over a period of time, other people understood when we have single party system, people understood that it became more or less an intimidatory tactic, whereby you're there to pay homage. And we had the picture of the retired late President
Moi.
Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. And people understood that was the law. And then the next person and the next person. But
it isn't.
It is not. There is no law saying that you have to portray or display the picture of a president in your office. As a matter of fact, as we move along, you'll find that the older generation, they will ask you, where is the picture, where is this? Because they were defeated mentally, psychologically, that way. Right now, for a long time, if you come to my home, in my home, like my rural home, because it's my mother's house that she has built with sheer sweat and dedication, she has the image of her president. I will not mention her president, but it's not our president, it is her president.
Ni rais wake.
Rais wake.
Now,
na hautamwambia chochote.
Before to
na hajavunja sheria yote. Yes.
Before turudi kule ile swali lile.
Naam.
Nao umeleta hii maana hii sasa ni na hili swala la bendera. Kwamba zinafungwa. Kila kusiju kukiona nini nao bendera inafungwa. Na wakati wa nyuma, wakati ule wa rais mstaafu aliyetangulia mbele za haki, ukipatikana hujaweka hiyo bendera, ni kesi.
Hakuna hatia. Hakuna mtu ambaye atashtakiwa
kwa Sisi basi.
Nimekunyang'anya maneno. Yes. Nimekunyang'anya maneno, lakini hakuna mtu ambaye atakusha. Unajua makosa ni nini?
Tuliteseka.
Kuna makosa ukichukua pesa zako.
Yes.
Sana pesa mfukoni nichukue. Ni rarue. Yeah. Hiyo ni hatia, sababu ile si pesa si yangu. Sababu inafaa kupitia kwangu. It is legal tender. It is written.
Itabidi tu aanze kutufundisha sheria.
It is legal tender. If I destroy it, then I am actually vandalizing something that belongs to the government.
But it's my money.
It is not your money.
Oh.
The value of that money is yours.
When
you destroy it, you do not only destroy the value that you're holding, you're destroying the value that is attached to it by the government. Because each note, each coin is serialized. Yeah? Here. The serial of this, if I destroy this, that is AX6221140, they don't have another one like this. I've denied you and any other person who would have touched this maybe in a month's time that opportunity, and have somehow, in one way or the other, messed up with the flow of the economy in that money.
No way.
Kumbe pesa sio
you know the reason I'm saying this?
Hold up, I don't want to lose the chain. What? Now, back to what he was talking about, the flag. You're not supposed to desecrate the flag because it's a symbol of unity. You cannot and you should not desecrate it. How do you desecrate it? I take the flag, I burn it. I take the flag, I tear it and trample on it, especially publicly. Because I am desecrating our symbol of unity, which is a constitutional symbol. Okay? Then, when you ask about how half and everything, because I've seen certain things that we are also made to understand over a long period of time that are an offense, but they are not an offense. Like, for instance, who told you? Nani alikuambia wakati wa wimbo taifa lazima usimame?
What are you saying?
Si watu inasemekana walikuwa akipigwa.
Kwa nini? Nani alikuambia?
We have to stand at attention.
Who told you?
At an attention.
Ni heshima tu.
Lakini kutoa kofia.
Yes, ni heshima tu.
Wewe ukiomba ama ukienda kuswali, si unatoa kofia?
Yes.
Our national anthem is a prayer.
Okay.
Ni maombi.
So we have to.
So you don't have to. You respectfully do that out of common decency.
But you can't sit.
But nobody can. You can't sit.
You can't.
I sit. There are times, not only I, because people, you have to free your mind
from mental slavery.
Yes. Because there was a time, there's a GSU headquarters at along Thika Road. And I used to pass there, and at some point when they blow the whistle and they are lowering the flag,
you stop.
You see the world freezes.
Yes.
And people stand at attention and everything. But if you didn't hear and you are about your business, you have somewhere to go, and you don't want to, you are not committing an offense. Morality and legality are two different things. It is immoral not to respect a prayer. It is immoral not to respect cultures and traditions, but it is not illegal. Because mtu atakwambia we huna heshima, umekuja kanisani ama watu wanaomba, ama umeenda msikitini watu wanaomba, hutoi kofia, haunyenyekei, hautulii, watu wengine wanaomba na una move around. Lakini hakuna mtu atakwambia umefanya hatia. Watu wataona wewe huna adabu, hauna maadili. Ni heshima. Hakuna mtu ambaye mimi mwenyewe nimesikia ama nimeona ameshtakiwa kotini kwa kukosa kusimama wakati wimbo wa taifa unaimbwa.
So what you're saying is that it's not enshrined in the constitution. It's not ati lazima.
Not even in the constitution but in the statutes.
Kwa hivyo tumekuwa watumwa kwa muda mrefu
sana.
Mimi wiki kidogo zilizopita nimefika, waziri amefika, tukaambiwa tusimame sote
aingie. Sasa waona vitu kama hivyo, na ndio itaturudisha kwa ile swali lile swali ambalo alikuwa ameuliza, na ndio tulianzia hapo tukadeviate kidogo. Waziri amefika, umesimama, mnaambiwa msimame hata kama huko unataka kusimama.
Ndio.
Wajua proper etiquette ukiwa umefunzwa vizuri, ambaye ataingia mahali ambapo watu wamekaa ni jukumu lake kuja kusalimia watu ambao wamewapata hapo.
Kweli.
Lakini katika hii hali ya utumwa na big man mentality, ile huyu ni mheshimiwa, huyu ni mkubwa, huyu ni hivi na hivi,
tunamnyenyekea.
Wewe ndio una break ile protocol ya etiquette. Alafu unaamka, wewe ndio unaenda kumsalimia. Yeye anangoja because yeye kuna big man mentality, so and so. The same way tumerudi kuanza kusema huyu bwana Peter Kaluma. Kisheria mimi nitamuita senior sababu yeye alisign ile role of advocates kabla yangu.
Ndio.
Sasa naweza muita senior kwa heshima ile ya kiwakili.
Yeah.
Lakini kuanza kusema huyo ni mheshimiwa, wajua you earn your title
yeah.
You earn your title. The problem we have as a country is stemming from us, and that is why tunasema mambo ambayo hawa watu wanatamka wakati maiti za watu zimezikwa, wakati miili imelala iko mahali fulani, ni sisi tunafanya wawe na wazungumze vibaya, waone ni kama hawako katika the same category na watu wengine in terms of accountability.
Si ndio tunawapa kiburi kwa ufupi.
Ni sisi. Ni sisi. Nitakuambia vizuri, mimi na kizazi changu na watu wale tunajuana karibu. Na kulingana na vile akili yangu imefunguka,
ndio
nitakuambia bila kukosa
bila samahani.
Bila samahani, na pia bila kuchanganya maneno. Nimekuwa katika vikao vingi na environment nyingi sana na waheshimiwa wengi. Utawatuwaisha waheshimiwa ama watu
manake wanalazimisha
magavana, cabinet secretaries, watu kama hao. Tumepanda ndege pamoja, tumekaa next to each other, tumeshuka, tumeenda mahali fulani, tumekutana katika vikao fulani. Sisi kama vile sisi tumelelewa, mimi nimelelewa. Heshima ya mtu ni vile kama wewe ni mkubwa wangu nitakuwa mkubwa vizuri, lakini niwe pale utarajie mimi nitasimama eti tuna no, hatufanyi hivyo. Haunilishi. Wajua wewe uko pale, nilikupigia kura, nitakusalimia kama utakuwa uko radhi kunisalimia, na mambo yataendelea. Hiyo heshima inamfanya yule akuheshimu pia wewe. Akupatie value, because kile inasemekana is that the world gives you back what you give. Ni kama ule mpira ukiurusha katika ukuta, ile pressure itarudi nayo ni ile utakuwa umeipatia. So hawa watu ambao tunawazungumzia, bwana Peter Kaluma, senior wangu kisheria, tunasema vizuri ya kuwa matamshi yake ni reckless na matamshi yake ni ya kujaribu kujipendekeza. Kwa zaidi umeona kama mheshimiwa Ruku. Mnamjua Ruku?
Ruku, yes. Saizi si ni waziri.
Ni waziri. Mheshimiwa Ruku hajafanya lolote ila kuwa apologist na kutamka maneno ili atunukiwe. Na hiyo ndio imekuwa shida yetu ya governance katika nchi hii. Kule kuzungumza ovyo ili utunukiwe. Na yule ambaye anapatiana nafasi hizi pia anafanya makosa, because anatunuku kile tunaita mediocrity na sycophancy. unanipata,
walevi wa mamlaka.
Ndio sasa unampata bwana Peter Kaluma, yeye ni wakili. Anajua vizuri ya kuwa sheria inalinda haki za kila mtu. Na zaidi sana tunajua mahali ambapo wanahabari wametusaidia na wanatusaidia mpaka wa sasa. Leo hii atakapohitaji usaidizi ya kuwa ananyanyaswa kwa njia moja au nyingine,
atakuja kwetu.
Kabla ya kwenda kotini atawatafuta wanahabari.
Press statement.
Yes. Kabla ya kwenda hivi na hivi, akiwa na ile bili yake anajaribu kuipopularize.
Yes.
Hawezi tembea kila mahali kama Morara Kebaso azunguke awaambie watu.
By the way,
atatafuta media.
Alikuwa na bill pia na alifanya the same thing yenye ulikuwa unasema.
Yes. Na mtu huyo anasema eti hii inafaa kufungiwa, kila mtu anafaa kukosa kufanya hivi na hivi. Ni mawazo yake ya kibinafsi, ni mawazo yake ambayo hayaambatani na taaluma yake. They are not professional. These are very personal, and they are not even aligning to his own party, because Secretary General wa party yake Sifuna amerudi akatuambia na akasema vizuri, give credit where it's due. He is in full support of what freedom of the media. Ukiwa na shida ya kuwa ule amenitaja vibaya, mpeleke kotini for defamation. Mshtaki, upate fidia, upate mamilioni yako. Lakini because unajua mambo ambayo anasema ni ukweli, huwezi mpeleka kotini. Unajaribu kutafuta njia za kiimla za kudeal na yeye, dictatorship ya kusema censor them, do not allow them to air this, ban this and this. Lakini that mentality ile yako nayo, ndio maana tunahitaji wakati mwingine kuangalia watu their mental status kabla tuwachague, sababu utamuita mheshimiwa na hata kuwa yuko na capacity nzuri.
Man, we are speaking to Lawrence Obonyo. I really like the conversation we're having today. I have learnt a lot, right? Yes, and at least I have an answer. I'll give my daughter an answer today. No, we don't have the picture. I think she saw it in school. Why would I have the picture in my house?
Si kwa sababu ulikuwa unaita sheria.
Why would I?
Lakini
why would I have the picture in my house?
Mimi unajua nimeteseka kwa muda mrefu.
Naam.
Yeah, I know you've suffered.
Hey! Mungu wewe. Shika mkono.
I can imagine. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. When we get back, we'll look at how to hold the police accountable. You know, that's a conversation we should have had. But now we're coming back to have the conversation. How do we hold the police accountable based on what transpired, what the revelations that were made in the BBC documentary, but then also what transpired in Narok? We'll be right back. Good morning. We are in studio with an advocate of the High Court, Lawrence Obonyo, and we are unpacking the Blood Parliament documentary done by BBC. And also we want to look at the police in all of this. Now, Lawrence,
yes,
in the documentary, they pointed out, they showed who pulled the trigger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And during the demonstrations, and even after Occupy Parliament, after Occupy Parliament, we saw again the security leaders also say, we do not know who pulled the trigger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we also had the president say that the protest was infiltrated by organized criminals.
Yes.
Now, having seen the profile of those who were killed, the profile of those who were shot, definitely not organized criminals. I stand corrected.
Yes.
The police, this documentary showed who pulled the trigger.
Yes.
IPOA has just come out to release a statement again that is after what happened. Now, first question before I go to IPOA.
Yes.
These officers who have been identified, what should be done?
Thank you for the question. The first thing that should be done with these police officers is that they need to have internal mechanisms, because within the police force there are internal mechanisms to take care of this. And what we should be hearing from the Ministry of Interior is a committee being set up, investigations being done, and letters being written and files being forwarded to the IPOA. Because remember, there is an aspect of Mganga Hajigangui, you see?
Yes.
So IPOA has been constituted properly, and I know that there's a new commission in office. The commissioners are working very hard to ensure that we attain the goals, and I'll go back to the statement that was issued by my parent organization, that is the Law Society of Kenya, that gave a lowdown of what is happening right now, and it called out IPOA. But I believe what my parent organization as an advocate was doing was calling out the former constitution of IPOA. The way it was constituted, the leadership and the composition of it. But the current office, just that I think it's less than 4 months in office. We have a new head and everything. So with this composition, I honestly believe that the investigations will be done, because I have, as an advocate, personally interacted with them. Complaints are taken, action is taken, feedback is given, and recommendations are given, so that in the event of dissatisfaction, you are able to escalate it.
Okay.
So right now, with this revelation of who pulled the trigger and all that, we've seen that from the report that was done by LSK, it's only 6 police officers who are in the process of being prosecuted. Only 6 out of I think they spoke about 300 who are actually identified for having committed offenses differently at different stages. And now this revelation and the expose by BBC comes out, and we are able to see that it is more. So through this, we are able to identify, and these individuals who have been named, who have been singled out. This is like work half done for the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA. And work half done for the investigating wing and the select committee of internal affairs in the police service, to actually single out these people, find out. Because when you see that Lawrence has been named on a TV expose, just find out, where was Lawrence on that day? Was he actually on the street? If yes, could you ask Lawrence to hand in his weapon, so that some investigations can be done? Could you ask Lawrence to take leave, so that they pave way for investigation, so that once cleared, everything can go on? Could you ask Lawrence to give you a report of what happened at this point? Could you ask Lawrence for his side of the story? Yes.
Okay. So following the pressure again, IPOA released a statement, right? And it noted that 60 deaths have been registered and have already completed investigations into 22, while actively pursuing 36, right? With 2 currently before the courts. And of course, they've stated the 2 include Rex Masai and Evans Kiratu, who were gunned down in Nairobi on the day of the protest, with police officers being the key suspects. Why did they wait to release this statement now? Could it be that in as much as they were doing the investigation, what were they waiting for? Actually, I think that's a question. Like, what were they waiting for?
Yeah, it's a sad affair that we live in a country where things have to be pushed from different quarters for someone to do actually what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying that the Independent Policing Oversight Authority did not do its bit, but justice has to be done and has to be seen to be done. The question that you ask is, why did they wait to release the report? Maybe someone can sit somewhere and say that releasing report is not as important as doing the job itself. But there's the aspect of public knowledge and keeping the public informed, especially on matters of public interest. So I think this is a wake-up call for them, so that they need to do periodic updates. I don't know the frequency of their updates, but they need to do periodic updates, so that everyone can take a point of reference, say that in fact it should be an aspect of putting a database now that we have a website saying that if you want the information of how many matters have been reported in this particular context, how many are being prosecuted, how many are so you can just extract it. So it could have been very easy for them to say that it is not that we've not released this information, we haven't just called the media, but this information is publicly available. They ought to be doing that. Yes.
Yesterday on the Standard newspaper, one of the headlines was I believe it was talking about, again, the Gen Z protest, but then it says that the police haven't learned. I'm not going to have to quote it verbatim. I'm just going to say it.
Yes.
That the police haven't learned, because then we also saw an incident in Narok where 5 people were gunned down, were killed. What is going on in our country where we see the police willingly pull the trigger, kill people, and very little is being done? Who is supposed to hold them accountable?
We are supposed to hold the police accountable.
How do we do that? We don't have guns.
Holding someone to accountability does not mean that we return fire, does not mean that we shoot them or put them in handcuffs. Accountability comes in different ways. We are supposed to hold them accountable because now we are empowered. We know that the right people can actually issue directives that can be followed to hold them to accountability are courts. So I encourage every Kenyan out there of goodwill to come out and be part and parcel of any litigation that you deem fit. Find out an advocate, find out a civil society organization, find out the people who are defenders of human rights. Tell them that you would wish to institute a case against the Kenya Police 10, against this person and that person, so that we hold them to accountability for any wrong that you see that is done out there. This is where we failed. We see posts on social media, we keep quiet. We see atrocities happen, excesses of the police, we keep quiet. We have this evidence and then later on we say the police are doing this and this. The police are humans and they are people like you and I. They follow instructions. We have the structures. The ministry is there. You saw what happened in Angata. It's called Barakoi. People were shot on a very innocent and supposedly calm exercise of demarcating land. And then people were shot. Days after anarchy has been reigning, cars have been burnt, hospitals have been attacked so that people want retaliation. This is how bad a society can descend if we don't have the proper structures, because there's a chain of command at the in the police force. Before a police officer, junior or middle level, pulls the trigger to shoot someone, there's a directive that has come that open fire. So we need to hold people to accountability at different levels. There's an ongoing case right now, popularly known as Baby Pendo case, whereby there's that aspect of holding someone to accountability, especially in the chain of command. Because we are seeing those people who are shooting people in the streets, but we're forgetting that there were orders coming from other people. So those people who are issuing orders that today, it is not rubber bullets, it's live bullets. Today, it is not tear gas canisters, it is live bullets. Today, it is not shooting in the air, it is aiming at people. You see, that is what we need to understand on things even happening there. And there's one thing I need to state without fear of contradiction, is that the police as a service, currently in this state, serves the whims of the person who is in power. So that we may be blaming the police, but a police officer is a disciplined officer. They follow instructions.
I like that you brought that, because yesterday I brought up something. Yes, you follow instructions, right? Yes, there's somebody who made the call and say today we're firing live bullets.
Yes.
you as the police officer, when you know that if I pull out my gun, if I fire it, I'm going to end Gona's life?
Yes.
At what point does the order, and then now to you as somebody who took oath, they do that, right?
Yes.
What's your responsibility to protecting him?
The responsibility to protecting him would mean committing an offense.
By saying, no, I cannot do this, and losing your job?
Let's put it blankly.
Yeah.
There are many forms of insubordination.
Yeah.
And there is insubordination that can save lives. You can say, no, I was ordered to shoot, but I opted not to.
Yeah.
Remember legality and morality? You will have done a moral thing of saving a life, but you will have done an illegal thing of not following direct orders. And you will be discharged from your duties. It is unfortunate, but going by that theory, that analogy, we need to understand that there is this holding to accountability of the persons who the buck stops with.
Okay.
Because even if you will meet certain discipline forces that are facing heavy fire and attack, but because the order has not come, their lives are in danger, they are not supposed to fire, to shoot at someone or fire their weapon.
Yeah.
So remember, you're looking at two. Yes, we want this person to protect another person, but there's that other person who is almost dying, waiting for an order. But the order is not coming, or the order is like, do not engage in this and this way. So in these two, if you were to put them on a weighing scale, aren't they two sides of the same coin? And is that life not the same as this life?
It is.
So that's why we need to call to accountability the person making the decision up there. And that person making the decision is not only the immediate supervisor, it is not the immediate reporting officer, it goes all the way to the person who runs that ministry and has come up with the policies that are like this and like this. Because you find that a Cheska for a police, a Cheska that is accompanying currency, these cars that transport money.
Yes.
You find that for them, shooting is very easy because they are protecting something, because there are policies on this and this. If this happens, you're at liberty to do this and this. But when we talk about people who are on the ground, then you have to wait for orders. So what is more important than the other? Is it the money more than the lives? Is it protecting a mheshimiwa somewhere more than protecting other people? Because we've also had those instances like what happened to the now case that is on public domain of the Honorable Aisha Jumua's bodyguard. They were at a funeral. Someone was shot. Someone died at a funeral. So those are the things that we need to ask ourselves: that do we have the right policies? Do we have the right ways of holding people to accountability? Because this is the same thing that is happening now. The people who will be prosecuted may not be the people who are calling the shots.
Yeah, I think you've said it. There, because transfers have happened, right?
Kwa sasa hapo itakuwa inamaanisha kwamba kwa mfano mimi ndio nimepewa hiyo order.
Ndio.
Ikifuatiliwa mimi naweza kuwa huru, lakini mwenye amenipatia order akashtakiwa yeye. Mimi ambaye nimeshoot naweza save.
Ndio. Sababu bila hiyo amri
singeshoot.
Haungeshoot. Na ukikosa kutii amri hiyo, apart from kuachishwa kazi, kuna ile protocol ya pale unaweza kuwa hata sanction na hatua zichukuliwe dhidi yako. Ukisign up for discipline forces, unachukua ile, unakula kiapo ama unakula viapo tofauti, na cha msingi ni lazima uheshimu amri. Because that's why we call it discipline forces. Lazima ufuate ile protocol. Hautaweza kuamka leo uweze kusema ya kuwa mimi nitafanya jambo ambalo mimi nafikiria linaninufaisha mimi, inafaa kuwa unafuata amri ambao inapatianwa kulingana na kile ambacho kinakuja kitafuatilizia. Hasa kutakuwa na wakati huo wewe ambaye uli pull trigger ulikuwa unafuata amri.
Yeah. Before Salim, sorry, yes. There is a question here from Ma.
Yes.
Ma, good morning. Ma says, since the civilian oversight over the police has proved ineffectual, don't you think it's time to consider police abolition? And by abolition, I don't simply mean tearing things down, but rather asking what should exist in place of outdated and violent systems that no longer serve the people. And he continues and says, I personally think it's time to defund the police, invest in communities and alternative safety mechanisms, because the force has proved to be obsolete. People don't even call the police in times of need, and actually the affluent have started embracing private security organs for safety.
However noble the idea is, we have to understand the society and the context within which we can effect certain ideologies. Right now, we do not have an open right to bear arms like other societies.
Yeah.
So, one, I would say defunding the police and looking at a different option contextually does not apply, and it would not serve our society best. We are in a structure whereby the police are the ones who are supposed to protect us. How about we steer the conversation in terms of improving the police, the constitution of the police, how the police is constituted, having certain units that can actually assist and help us deal with this. And how about we look at this, you've said civilian oversight. The civilian oversight that we're talking about, we need to understand the composition of this civilian oversight, because this civilian oversight that we're talking about is composed of several people from different disciplines. You have lawyers in there, you have people who served in the forces in there, you have people who are from civil society, religious organizations, so that we have a clear composition of this oversight that encompasses the entire society.
Yeah.
So the only thing we need to do is empower them so that they can do the right thing. Instead of taking a different turn, we may need to have people actually do their jobs. And if we have proper litigation that holds people to accountability, I honestly believe that the systems that we have are good. It is only a matter of implementation.
Okay, mimi swali langu linakuja hapa. Nimesikia haya maneno wakiyasema. Sasa sijui kama umesema ni illegal na
immoral.
Yeah. Nimewasikia sana wakisema, hata jana nafikiri tulizungumzia hili swala.
Naam.
Kwamba polisi ama mtu yote ambaye anahudumu kwenye sekta ya usalama,
ndio
akikabiliwa na ahisi kwamba hapa kuna hatari ya maisha yangu,
ndio
anafaa kuchukua hatua ya kujilinda yeye kwanza na uhatari ule wa yeye kuweza kupoteza maisha. Hii wewe unaizungumziaje? Iko kwenye sheria ama iko kwenye vitabu vyao ama iko wapi?
Iko kwenye vitabu vyao. Kuna kile tunaita the National Police Standing Orders.
Okay.
Kuna hivyo vinapatiana guidelines vile wanafaa kufanya. Sasa hapo kuna ile sensitization ama uhamasishaji wa umma ambao unafaa kufanyika, especially na Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, ambayo inatuambia circumstances ambapo inalazimu polisi afanye jambo fulani kuprotect maisha. Utapata, for instance, na nitakupa example ambayo pengine umeona ama umesikia. Utapata kuna mtu ambaye anashukiwa kufanya kosa fulani kwa umma na watu wanamfuata ili kumfanyia ile lynching.
Yes.
Kisha unapata polisi anaingilia hapo, lakini nguvu za wale watu zikizidi, polisi anatoa bunduki lake ana discharge kwenye hewa ili watu na utapata kuna wakati mwingine mtu anajaribu kutoroka ama vitu kama hivyo, anatumia kile kinaitwa reasonable force. Sasa tunaona mambo kama hayo yako katika ile police standing order, na inampa si eti aone maisha yake kwa hatarini. Unajua that is very subjective. Itakuwa maoni yangu mimi kwa maoni yangu, na hiyo utakuwa umefungua mlango ambao unaweza tumika vibaya. Mtu atasema in my opinion, ama wazo langu ni maisha yangu yalikuwa hatarini, lakini lazima uambiwe ama uelekezwe katika zile nyakati ambazo zinakubalika na zile hazikubaliki. Huwezi enda ulevini useme ya kuwa sikuwa nimelipa bili, watu wakaanza kunipiga nikaona maisha yangu iko hatarini nikachukua. Unaona? That's a matter of opinion.
Yes.
Lakini ukiwa katika ile iko katika standing orders, mimi nimeona wakati an officer anakuwa disarmed na officers wenzake.
Yeah.
Yes? Lazima wafuatilie vizuri without discharging the firearm. Na kuna wakati for mental case issues ama mambo mengine, officer anakuwa amedischarge firearm, sasa wenzake lazima wakuje wasaidie ku diffuse ile situation, na inabidi wafanye mambo fulani. So there are protocols, na kuna zile zote zimeandikwa pale. Uhamasishaji ndio unafaa kuwa. Yes.
So kwa hivyo kuna uhaba wa uhamasishaji
haswa
kwa umma.
Ndio.
Wana mambo yao wamebaki nayo wenyewe huko.
Yes.
Sisi hawatuambii.
Na ukiwa kama wakili kama mimi, kuna wakati ambapo pengine vitu vingine vinafika katika certain hearings, sio kotini, hata zile disciplinary ama mkienda kule ndani, ndio unaweza kujua ya kuwa katika police standing order number this and this ulikuwa unafaa kufanya hivi na hivi. Hata wenyewe wanajua internally. Na mkikaa pale wanajua vizuri hapa si kufanya hili, na ndio maana nasema uhamasishaji. That civic education is very important. Na ndio hata swali ambalo limeulizwa kupitia njia ya mtandao, tunafaa nasema tuko na zile tools zetu. We already have the tools. It's only a matter of implementation. And how do you implement it if you don't know? So you need to be sensitized so that you know, so that you can implement it.
Okay.
Yes.
Still on this issue in Barakoi,
Yes.
the incident in Barakoi.
Yes.
So the Standard newspaper has highlighted this story, and they've actually put the victims.
Yes.
And I'm going to mention them by name.
Yes.
There is Paul Pasuben from Kapsinindet village.
Yes.
Joseph Rono, a teacher from Chikche village. Isaiah Kipkoech, a college student from Kabusa village. Gideon Koech, a high school student from Kapsinindet village again. Nelson Rono from Rotik village, and an 8-year-old girl identified only as Maureen. Now, there's a quote here from Kilgore's MP. He says, "Who authorized use of live bullets on unarmed residents?" Right?
Yes.
Why was titled land being resurveyed without the owner's consent? This is abuse of state power.
Yes.
Now, the IG Douglas Kanja,
Yes.
has also ordered the immediate transfer of area DCIO and GSU officers.
Yes.
As the transfer is being done, and I'll take us back to, we like sweeping things under the rug.
Yes.
Because the incident happened, we have transferred the area DCIO and GSU officers, right?
Yes.
But life has been lost.
Yes.
And again, Salim has asked an interesting question, that when the police feels threatened, are they allowed to pull out their firearm and shoot, right? But then also, there's a residents who didn't have, one would say they were unarmed, or in as much as the kills was there, they ended up firing and killing. One of them, an 8-year-old. My fear is, as a Kenyan citizen again, that from the protests, we saw people die.
Yes.
And investigation is still ongoing, and no one has been held accountable. With this incident in Barakoi, we're seeing transfers being done. And guys, people are asking for justice. Is this going to be another case where we're sweeping it under the rug? And I still ask, who is supposed to hold the police accountable? And if somebody made that order, who will come to our defense as citizens to find out, oh, Lawrence, you made the order, we need to hold you accountable? Or are we in a space where it's untouchable?
Let me start the question and answer it backwards. One, nobody is untouchable. Time may be a factor, space may be a factor, duration and regime may be a factor, but nobody is untouchable. You've seen certain skeleton coming out of the closet to haunt certain people at certain times. But again, we know justice delayed is justice denied. So the sooner this is dealt with, the better. Who is going to hold these people accountable? It is you and I. We are the ones to push so that the complainants get justice. We've adopted something as a society that if it doesn't affect me, then we let it slide. So I would like to implore on the media houses and the journalist fraternity, the journalism fraternity, and the Fourth Estate in general, not to relent. Because you know that the ills of the society, the way they are perpetuated and the way they are sustained depends on how they are highlighted on.
Yeah.
If you keep quiet, then it's swept under the rug and it goes. And then people, they remember, there was this and this. There was this and this. Now, we are the ones to hold them accountable because the courts are waiting. We live in an adversarial state, society. The laws, the society, the courts are waiting for someone to institute a complainant to come along so that the complainant can say this and this. We don't need to sit back. Now, who is going to be held accountable for this? Who decided? I know Johanna Ngeno, the MP, has been calling. Who decided that it's live? And why do you carry police officers who are armed to the tooth on a demarcation of land process?
Yeah.
A piece of land that has a title. Was there a court order for that? There are certain things that are out of place, and they are going to be deconstructed and deciphered as we move along. There are so many questions that are begging, and we need to have them answered. But we are the ones who are supposed to hold these people to accountability. We are the ones who are supposed to follow up with the police. The person who decided that they're using live bullets, the person who decided that they're actually going to participate on a demarcation process, all these people have to be held to accountability. The land registrar or surveyor who was supposed to be on the ground, who may have asked for police assistance, has to be held to accountability.
Yeah.
These people who are conducting that activity on the ground. Now, come back to the police. You've spoken about the transfers and everything, and juxtapose it with the issue of the killings on the other side during the protest. Right now, I'm not even now siding with anyone, but at the end of the day, we've seen from the media reporting how hostile the ground is.
Yeah.
So the transfer may not be to sweep the issues under the rug, but to try and stop certain inflammation so that people don't see that I saw this person on the ground. He is still here. He is on my face. The anger is still there. Maybe you do the transfer, but that does not mean that the investigation should stop. Maybe you just try to calm the situation, because we saw days after, you saw the Inspector General and the head of DCI, they all were there, but they were held there for, I read that they stayed in the chopper hours before the police were chased out.
Yeah.
Because people have, the anger is still fresh. They chased away the police, and the bosses was held up there for hours in their choppers so that they could communicate with the people on the ground. And even the the cabinet secretary, Honorable Mokomen, he needs also to come out and explain to the people. You know, certain things when they happen and you don't offer explanation, then it looks like you're sweeping things under the rug. You need to tell the people. Because personally, when I sit, I'm trying to give it a logical understanding that tensions are high, emotions are high, people are angered. So we need to have everything calm down fast before we go. We don't have to wait that today the DCIO is still there, the person, the OCS is still there, and then the villagers or the members of the public, they attack a police station, burn them and kill those people. You understand? So you need to see a way that you can diffuse, and when you introduce a third party to try and calm the people and reassure them that investigations are being done, not just as a matter of lip service, but a matter of action, so that this thing can be taken to the heights is supposed to be taken, to serve as an example even to the others.
Okay.
Yes.
Mimi niko na swali moja. Now that tumezungumza sana hapa.
Ndio.
Na wewe ni wakili.
Ndio.
Tena wakili ambaye anajikuta, anajipata, anajielewa.
Ndio.
Kuna kitu ambacho chaitwa private
prosecution.
Private prosecution.
Ndio.
Nimeona picha ya Gona kwenye ile makala. Ni askari. Nina hiyo kura ya turufu ya kwenda kumshtaki.
Ndio.
Inawezekana?
Yawezekana.
Hebu ifafanue.
Haya. Kumshtaki mtu katika ama kuchukua hatua hii ya private prosecution, huwa inafanyika wakati umeweza kuonyesha koti ya kuwa wale au kitengo ambacho kinafaa kuongoza mashtaka dhidi ya mtu huyu kimeshindwa, kimekataa, hakiwezi ama hakina uhuru wa kuendesha mashtaka hayo bila interference ama bila kuwa na mapendeleo. Hapo unafanya application kotini, unaitisha ya kuwa ufanye private prosecution na unaeleza sababu zako. Kwa nini unaomba koti kabla ufanye hivi? Ni sababu tayari umelipia watu fulani kufanya prosecution kwa niaba yetu. Kiongozi wa mashtaka anafaa kufanya kwa niaba ya watu. Sasa iwapo atakuwa ameshindwa kufanya kazi yake kwa sababu moja au fulani, na wewe unataka haki itendeke, utasema mimi nitalipia wakili wangu, nitafanya mambo haya, lakini mimi mlalamishi nataka niende katika private prosecution. Kwa nini? Because I feel like they will be biased. 2, they don't have the capacity. 3, they are not willing. 4, they may be influenced. 5, it touches on them, so it's a matter of conflict of interest. Sasa mambo kama hayo ukishayaweka kotini, koti itasema basi fuata mwongozo huu, sababu koti lazima pia ikupatie mwongozo wa kufanya private prosecution. Supply wale na zile vitu uko nayo, sababu unakumbuka kufanya private prosecution, wale ambao wanafaa kukupatia documents wanaweza kuwa wale unawashtaki. Because normally kiongozi wa mashtaka anapewa police file. Police file iko na investigating report na exhibits na evidence. Kisha anafanya prosecution na hiyo, anaendesha mashtaka na hiyo. Umemshtaki polisi katika private prosecution. Ni wewe haswa actually unampatia huyu polisi file ya kusema ndio hizi evidence zile tuko nazo na vitu kama hivyo. So ina work the other way around. So koti lazima itoe mwongozo, lakini it's very much possible, you can do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Thank you for making time.
I highly appreciate it.
Yeah, we've spoken for 1.5 hours. 1 hour. 1 hour 45 minutes. Well, yes. Before I let you go again, we cannot assume that the same person who listened to us last week is the same person listening to us today.
Yes.
For somebody who might need your service as an advocate, what areas do you practice? I'm working on that.
Thank you. We are actually a general practice. Main focus is on family, children matters, and we also deal with the criminal litigation, civil litigation, and corporate law. So we highly recommend that in the event anyone wants to engage us, you're most welcome to visit our offices at Imara Building, which is in Mombasa, opposite Pandya. We're on the 5th floor, and we also have an office at Diani Shopping Center on the ground floor. So, karibu sana. We are found as Lawrence Obonyo Legal Advocates on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And you're most and even on TikTok. We also
I was about to say
TikTok. Yes. So thank you so much and happy Labor Day to all the listeners. We wish you a very informed and relaxed Labor Day.
Yes, happy Labor Day to Salim as well.
No.
Thank you for making time.
Thank you so much.